Satnam.
Satnam.
So we are together today to talk about the SunChild, which is a program we offer to learn to teach Kundalini Yoga to children. And we have been offering this program for more than 10 years in different countries. We started in China, Taiwan, Australia, and then in Europe. We taught it in Belgium, Austria, Switzerland, and soon in France. So yeah, we wanted just to talk a little bit about this program in order for you to know what to expect and what is the aim of learning to teach children Kundalini Yoga. So Sat Sarbat, since she was the motor in that, the engine. When we met, I was teaching children, normal class, Kundalini Yoga class. And Sat Sarbat had done a lot of training and also taught a lot children Kundalini Yoga.
7 years.
Yes, and also have a long experience with children.
50 years.
So why is it so important to teach Kundalini Yoga to children? I would say, what is the specificity there that can support them?
For me, what yoga gives to children is the possibility to own again themselves. So to have a certain command, I wouldn't say control because the purpose is not to control, but a certain commands on our emotion and what we do and why we do it. Through Kundalini Yoga, the children get more balance. There are studies that proved that it's really working against aggressions and too much emotionality and emotivity with dealing with other children, or for example also at schools, reducing conflict. And what really it gives to children is, I would mention two things, is empowerment and adaptability. Empowerment because they get a certain self-assurance that they have tools that they can use to deal with their brain, which is a work in progress, at least, maybe a whole life, but at least we are 25 for sure. So they get some tools and they get this assurance. So that's what I mean, owning themselves. They own something that will make them take at least a decision that are a little bit more conscious. And the other is adaptability. So they learn to adapt in a creative way to the reality that it does not always correspond to what they want, instead of being moody, blaming others, blaming the reality, being frustrated or being depressed. So when we teach children adaptability and we make them we teach them gratitude for what it is, and other angle to see something in a more positive way, like we do with yoga, then we create adults that are happier.
Mm-hmm. And what I observe also, it's the children don't find easily a place where they are welcome for who they are.
Yes.
And this is what is offered in the context of a class. It's not about teaching techniques, or not only about techniques and not only about being together. It's a chance for them to be accepted for who they are at that moment, without expectation, judgment, or a conditioning about the way it should be. So I found that also very important for their growth.
Yes.
And another aspect is the adult, so come to the training in order to learn to teach children, different age, from early age to teenager. So what is it for the adult in that training?
It's as important as for the child. And I believe that we have, before teaching the adult, we have to teach the child in those adults, because otherwise we will, and this is what we do in life, we always react with our strategies and unconscious patterns that we create when we were children in order to cope with the reality, in order to please others, to adapt, to be loved, in order to cope with the fact that we didn't always get what we wanted. And so when we are adults, we tend to teach to be with children in that same way, so with our patterns and with our filter. So we do not really see them, but we are busy with our own childhood stuff. So for example, we teach children, so we imagine we have to be fun and we have to do a good class and they have to like us, and the purpose is certainly not to be liked by children. They have to like themselves after your class. So we deal a lot in this training with healing these strategies and these patterns of the past, or healing is not really a term that I also actually like, but let's say put some light that we find better solutions that are not the one that we use in the past. They might have been good in the past, but today they are obsolete. So this is what we do. There is a work on the inner child, and we observe ourselves in dealing with children. What is our personal stuff that we're trying to dealing with versus what is that we really, what is our presence for them in that moment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what we have observed is the participant after this training, some are very motivated to teach children, and they organize themselves to teach children, but even the one who didn't implement that in their life, it was a big transformation for them, because we really touched the root of how we have built our identities.
Even dealing with adults, it's useful. This teacher training is for children, to teach children, but it's also very important for an adult to deal with other adults afterwards in a more adult way, because we very often speak to one another child, inner child. This is not really a conversation that happens in the present, but one that is influenced by our patterns of the past.
Yes, we had one student who started to teach this class in her company in order to bring some motivation, energy, and connection between the employees. Because one thing about this training, it reminds us who we are, and it reconnects back to our innocence. And when we are connecting to our innocence, there is a flow of energy that somehow we have put on hold because it was not accepted, or it was judged, or it was rejected. So it brings a lot of new prana by opening ourselves to our essence. So it was interesting to see that she used that to bring the people together and actually have fun without faking it, just by being herself.
Yes.
So what is in this training? Like a little bit about the structure or the content?
Yes, in this training we put together, actually this is a training, let me talk from the beginning how we came to it, because we loved children and we loved to be able to teach them yoga, and it was playful and it was nice. And the teacher training that I attended were all very, very good, and I had a lot of fun. And this is also what I got from other participants who come back home with a lot of, oh wow, and then it's enthusiasm and creativity, because they are really fun. But then after a while this deflated, and there were no real tools, because our internal world didn't change in regard to children. So we kept on using these tools, playfulness, but once we play 3 times, but we don't change the relationship to the children, there was not enough motivation. And also on the side of the children, they were coming to class, many reported that, and then they would leave because they could not stick to it. And so we created this teacher training, putting really tools for changing our inner world, our inner emotion, our patterns, as I said before, strategies, in order for the person to change the view on children and to be really there for the children today. In that way, the children, when they come to class, they feel seen, they feel that they can get something for themselves. It's not just a fun class that the person in a momentum of enthusiasm offers and then it's deflate, but it's something really that they can do for themselves. So children kept on coming to these classes offered by students that certified to that teacher training, because they realized it was really for them. They were listened, and there was presence from the teacher. So this is what we decided to put in this teacher training. Of course, it's a lot of fun, a lot of playfulness, but there is a big work also on the inner child that lasts approximately a couple of days at least on the 7 days intense teacher training. We have two formats, 7 days or 9 days, a little bit more spread in the 9 days and really intense in the 7th. So the inner child takes these days, and then there is a big part on education, because many that joined our training were people working in a special institute with children, also with handicapped children, and the orphanages, and they need a tool to learn about children, to be with children. And also a lot of parents that came for education. How do I deal with my child? At what age? What can I do at this or this age? What do I do when they're a teenager and I have the impression I lost them? And so we put a lot of educational tool as well.
One thing which is very specific to yoga is the embracing the polarities. And it's true also for this training, and it's true for teaching children. There is a balance between Saturn, that means the frame, the structure, the organization, yes, and Jupiter, which is the expansion. So when we offer a class to children, it's very important to have this balance, yes, of polarity. That means the child should feel safe, should feel secure in a certain frame in order to expand. So it's not only about the fun part and expansion and laughing, because sometimes it's not what is there. So it's how can I develop my capacity of listening, to welcome what is there and to use it to grow together, and for the children to realize that there is no part which is wrong. All parts have their own taste, color, and they are useful.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Sat Sarbat.
Thank you, Satmukh.
We are always excited, yes, to offer this training.
Beautiful program.
If you need information, please contact us.
Sat now.